Welcome, everyone, to this webinar brought to you by the Israel Defense and Security Forum, IDSF. In Hebrew, our name is Abitronistim. IDSF is a movement of reserve officers and operators from all branches of the Israel Defense Establishment who believe that strong national security priorities and staunch Zionism are necessary for Israel to be the eternal homeland of the Jewish people. Thank you to all of our viewers and supporters for tuning into these war briefings. It is very important to us at the IDSF that we can share with you these war updates and analysis about the war here in Israel, and that we can connect our experts with you in these very direct and candid briefings. We are, of course, joined right now by Brigadier General Amir Avivi, the founder and chairman of IDSF, who will begin with a brief update on what's happening in the war, and then we're going to try to go to as many questions as we can. Over the week, many questions have come in that we have not yet been able to address. We'll try to do some of those right now. Please, General.
Thank you, Moshe. You see me with the coat in Jerusalem. Winter is coming, literally. Winter is here in Israel. And at the moment, because we are in a ceasefire, there's not much to update about war, but I think there is a big drama and we have to really follow up on what's going on. What's happening is that the moment Hamas is saying they are willing, they want to extend the ceasefire for a few days more and gain more time. Of course, each day we get 10 hostages, so this is pretty meaningful. But at the same time, there is more and more talks because I think that nothing is dramatically changing in our motivation to continue the war. They're formulating a deal that says we'll give all the hostages back, and we want a ceasefire. That's it. We want a ceasefire. And this is something that we must not accept. And unfortunately, I see people in Israel that say, yes, the top priority of the war is bringing back the hostages. And I think that definitely it's one of the goals of the war. It's not the top goal. The top goal is winning the war and eradicating Hamas. And by that also creating the terms for a much safer Israel and our place in this tough region and in the world. I think that if we stop the war and Hamas stays standing, this will be an existential threat for the whole state and for all the Jewish world. And so all of us, I think we need to really, really be proactive now in sending a clear message to the government of Israel, to the cabinet, and also, by the way, to the administration. Stopping the war is not an option. We need to stick to the goal of war and eradicate Hamas. If we don't do that, we lost. And this will have terrible repercussions all over. Palestinians in Jordan, Samaria, Israeli Arabs, Hezbollah, Iran, they will all be all over us. And of course, the citizens in the south were murdered for nothing. We were going back to the same reality we were before, with Hamas in 1 year building itself back to what it was. It's not an option, for me at least. And Prime Minister Netanyahu, just a few minutes ago, I saw an alert in Israel Hayom. He's saying, no, we are sticking to the goals. We are going to destroy Hamas, and this is the right thing to say. But there are forces, first and foremost, our enemies, that want to create like a dilemma, big dilemma, and a discussion in Israel and in the Jewish world, saying, look, we gave you a chance to get all the hostages and stop the war. You didn't take it. So I think this is a very defining moment talking about leadership. talking about understanding really what is looking at the overall interests of Israel and the Jewish people, which are much, much bigger than the issue of the hostages. And I want to remind everybody that even if we don't get all the hostages and we go to a ground incursion, we are going after our people. We are going to take over an area where they are there, and we are going to get them. It's not that we're giving up on hostages. So basically, the way I see it, in the coming days, we'll try to release as many hostages as possible. There will be a moment, if we don't accept, and we shouldn't accept, the overall deal of stopping the war for getting all of them, that Hamas will say, that's it. We're not releasing any more hostages. And at this time, we need to basically go back to war and eradicate Hamas. I want to give you guys time to ask questions now. Moshe has prepared a very interesting interview, which is going to show you afterwards. So please, Moshe, let's discuss questions.
A number of people have asked about the military supplies of the IDF. Is the IDF all stocked up now? And also, has the US been providing supplies to the IDF?
So the IDF is supplying itself all the time. There are ships on the way to Israel. There are airplanes landing in Israel. We have more than 700 industries in Israel that are fully devoted to supply the army. And this is growing and growing. And also all our military industries are working 24/7 to supply the army. Of course, the fact that we stopped for a few days gives time to the army to resupply, and we're making good use of this time. And I think that every day that goes by, our ability to produce, the production and everything is growing. And meanwhile, of course, we are bringing equipment and munitions, not only from the US, a lot from the US, but also from all around the world.
President Biden's influence in this war, is it undermining what the IDF needs to accomplish, or is it in line?
I think that we have overall the blessing of the president to destroy Hamas. This is very important. I mean, this hasn't changed. I think that the US, the administration understands that Hamas needs to be destroyed. There is all the time issues talking about the humanitarian situation in Gaza. We have to remember that the US is entering elections year, and there are many voters of Biden that are very unhappy with what's going on in Gaza. And politically, I think the president needs to talk to his audience, try to balance, show that he cares about Palestinians. And I think that